Dude, yeah, the amount of time she was just shut in her dark room, just like curled up, like don't fucking talk to me.
I need
Which
that.
is so like on par for a teenager.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
And
Or
I
a
need
30-year-old
that
man.
What I'm trying to say is I can relate to our girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I need that in an OP character because yes, of course I know the main character is going to win in the end, but you can't just give them win initiality because then I'm having a hard time watching this show. You know what I mean? That was a weak little snap there, buddy. Give it a good snap.
Oh my God.
Give it a kill level snap.
Well, you gotta shut up while I do it.
Weird.
That
Mikey
was
telling
good.
me to shut the fuck up. That never happens.
I know.
Never happens.
You hit record on all this shit, right? Both?
Yeah, I did because we were just chatting away and we're doing
'cause-
fucking whatever.
Nice.
You know to take care of me.
I do.
Yeah.
I love you.
You're the real senpai.
I'm a senpai. No, I'm sensei.
What am I?
You're Baka.
Hey! That's the one word I know! You son of a bitch.
All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to another episode of
Anime Shmanime.
And I'm your host, Mikey Lee.
And I am also, I guess, a host, Jordy
Jordan.
Edward. And Jay is also a host,
And
senpai in the
another
corner.
I've got another host, yeah.
I am
Senpai.
Jay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Actually, so before we start, this episode specifically is actually going to go out to
James.
James. Yeah. So
Yeah, my
I
boy.
think he goes, that guy.
ATLX, I believe.
Yeah.
He's also part of the STORMKEEP Warhammer 40K podcast. The
sweet.
STORMKEEP on YouTube.
Oh, there
Check
you
them
go.
out.
Hell yeah.
Here we're plugging you. I
Yeah.
don't,
That's right.
yeah. So I think he was like our first comment ever.
I think so. No, we had
No.
that one like fan who found us by accident and then gave up on us promptly immediately
Yeah.
after that.
Because he thought we were like a reaction video,
Yeah.
and we ended up being a podcast.
Yeah, and I love
Womp
how we
womp.
like jumped on it. We're like, dude, thank you so much for listening. He's like, oh yeah, about that. See, I didn't actually mean to. Then I didn't watch the whole episode. I'm sorry. And that was the end of that.
Yeah. No, but this was our first suggestion.
That's true.
Yeah,
That is
so,
true.
So I guess James, this one goes out to you, buddy.
Yeah.
So you can hear Jordy rip on it.
That's what you asked for. Will that happen? Remains to be seen.
It's
But-
very, very likely.
Either way, James,
Yeah.
we will see you in the comments, buddy.
yeah,
No
sure,
doubt.
sure we will. So what are we covering? Did you say that already?
No, we are covering. Oh, before we do that, what do we have to tell people?
That we spoil the shit out of this
Spoil the fucking shit
for
out of the
you
whole
and
thing.
sometimes for Mikey and Jay.
Don't be a dick.
I can't promise anything.
I think we have a winning record still.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
All
it's not a
right.
competition though.
Yes, it is a competition.
That's okay. You have your competition there, buddy. You can
This
have
is
it.
the whole point of the podcast is to get you to like anime.
Okay, fair enough.
It's working.
Yeah,
It happens
true.
from time to time.
It does.
Yeah.
Beck.
I'm wearing a Beck hoodie right now, courtesy
Exactly.
Hanger 91.
Yes, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
so we're not covering Beck. We are covering
Kill la Kill.
Boom. So Kill la Kill, just so spoiler alert, Kill la Kill is a reimagining of Knight Rider in the form of underage softcore porn.
What?
Because
How? Okay, no, explain to me the Knight Rider thing.
because she's the Hoff and Senket's is Kit, the car.
I guess.
Right? It's a talking mechanism that allows you to be more powerful in the things that you do.
Yeah, but it's not a car.
No, it's clothes, but it's the same concept.
It's also the same color motif. As
There you go. See?
Shut up, Jay.
He would know he loves cars.
No, that's a moment where you don't jump in.
I'm sorry. It's cars. It's cars.
Yeah, he knows cars. We established
We
that.
already did the fucking Cars episode.
Yeah. So we don't have to dwell on cars, but it is the same concept and mechanism as that show. Right? Your hero has a device that is somehow sentient and helps you through the things you're going through, right?
Oh, yes. Again, okay, I think we already said spoiler alert,
Yeah.
but like we're going to spoil the shit out of
Yeah.
everything. So Yes,
So, yeah.
but okay. Did you like it though?
Honestly, I'm appalled at how enjoyable the show is. Like, could not believe that I was enjoying it as I was watching it. I don't know how that happened. But on paper, no. But in experience, it's fun as fuck, dude.
Yeah,
That's the magic of this show.
Yeah, dude. Like, there's some wild stuff that happens here,
Totally.
man. And it's like, what's funny too is they didn't actually do a storyboard for this anime until episode 5.
Interesting. Well, the intro, a couple episodes all just seem to be... It's weird, though, because they do establish story, right, in the intro couple episodes. Yeah. But it is a lot of... I always harp on Monster of the Week vibes, and they, like, go there in the first couple episodes, and then they throw it away and give you a story you can sink your teeth into. Yeah. Which added to, not only is it fun, but it's also, like... Okay, very silly, but the story is there, and it develops, and it gives you something to...
And it gets wild.
It gets wild, dude. Yeah.
I really liked how like it felt like they were playing with the tropes, like all the tropes and all the things you come to expect from anime. It was just like Play-Doh in their hands.
Yeah.
And they were just messing with it, as much as they wanted, using whatever they wanted, borrowing whatever they wanted from all these styles of anime.
Sure.
But in the end, giving you something that I think is extremely unique.
Yeah, it just all
100%.
adds to the over-the-top nature of what it is. Everything's over the top. The usage of tropes, the silliness, even the story, like the elements of the story are so fucking far out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, though, it's like when I got you to try to watch Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
And it was, and I was okay. That was a bad one to start you off with because you didn't know anything.
We should give backstory. So before this podcast existed, I reached out to Mikey and said, "Hey, I think I'd like to like anime. Can you suggest some that I might be interested in watching?" He goes, "Watch Hunter x Hunter." So I watch it, and I'm like, "Okay." And then it gets to I start messaging him. I'm like, "What's this? And what's happening?" And he's like, "Oh, that's them making fun of this anime trope. That's them making fun of or pointing out what's funny about this anime genre." And I'm like, "But I don't know any of those things." So that show was a bad place to start. And then there's this giant, weird, creepy spider with a puckering butthole, and I was out, dude. Out from that point onward.
Listen, no, in Mikey's defense,
Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter is a great show. And
It
it's
is.
like,
Okay.
we got a very loyal, dedicated fan base, and
Sure.
it's like well respectable in its own right.
Yeah.
But maybe just an odd choice, but not a bad one.
Mikey is known for odd choices, and it's great for us.
Yeah.
But not for a new anime viewer who's like, "I'd like to like anime." That being said, I see what you're trying to say about the correlation, about the usage of tropes. You know what I mean?
Well, and also it's like you have like Sailor Moon-esque things that happen when like she like transforms into her, like the Senkatsu, like the whole bit, right?
Yeah.
You have the whole like Dragon Ball Z, the tear fighting, right? Like it's
Even, there's
all
mecha
there.
elements even later on, right?
Yeah.
Which are weird, but they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, dude, it's so good though.
So I will say, like, as much as I did enjoy it, there are some things that were hard, and the main one that is going to be impossible not to talk about is the underage fan service.
Dude,
To the point where like it's happening so much that in my head I'm like, I have to look this up because it's either gross or like okay. And as soon as I looked, I was like, nah, it's gross. I'm sorry, but it just was so much and such a strong element that like give her one more year of life.
Yeah,
and it's okay.
Wait until I make you watch Food Wars, man.
You know how often you say that in our episodes? Wait until I make you watch. Wait until I make you watch. I'm here for it. But it doesn't help that this was a problem in this show. You know what I mean?
I think he's just trying to say like it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a sadly established thing that I think turns a lot of people off. You're not alone in that. Like there are a lot of people who simply will not watch a certain style of anime or a certain type of anime because they know that at some point somebody who's right on the cusp of age of consent is going to be overly sexualized.
Yeah, and I'll say it's not going to keep me from watching, but it definitely makes it hard to enjoy to its fullest. It's distracting, right?
But its purpose and what it accomplishes is boys, guys, whatever, people of that exact age that they're portraying,
they get hard,
are going to eat it up.
Yeah.
17-year-olds that are the same age as all these characters.
Sure.
This is for them.
Yeah.
And guess what? they eat it up, bro.
I don't doubt it. Yeah, I don't doubt it.
But as 30 plus year olds as we are, we need to understand this and rationalize this, right? And so I'm not surprised that you're doing that, because I've had to do the same thing many a time, dude.
Yeah.
Many a time.
I'm still not sure it's okay, but yes, I understand the point of why it was done.
Sure.
But you got to keep in mind, these are fictional characters.
Yeah, fictional 17-year-old characters wearing almost nothing, right? Like that's.
But you know what though? It plays a huge part in this, because it's like, so what's her name again? Fuck, I can't remember.
Ryuko?
Not Ryuko, the antagonist.
Shit. I have it written down here somewhere, but I don't remember.
Senpai.
Don't even look at me. Satsuki.
Yeah.
So there's a moment where Satsuki's like, where she puts on her outfit.
Yeah.
And it's like, she even like talks about how like she's so shameless to bring out the whole power of the outfit and everything. You have to just let go of everything. And there was a lot of meaning in that, though, right?
I will say that it was very clever the way that nudity was written into the plot.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Nudity!
really clever, dude.
I was telling Jay that I was going to do this show naked. I totally forgot.
Where's the nudity, bud?
I'm going to take off my shirt.
But to that respect, that exact scene where she does that, when she explains that, what's funny is later on you find out that that's not actually the reason for the nudity, right? And I was going to get into it later, but the reason for the nudity is because like the human body can only wear these things for so long because it's draining power from you. So the less physical amount of it that's touching your skin, the longer you can withstand wearing it.
Well, you know,
like, the way they write nudity, clever. Yeah.
Well, the other thing though is it depends on which Goku uniform you're wearing, right? Like Senkatsu is made of 100% light fiber, right? Where you know,
it's someone who doesn't know what we're talking about has no fucking idea what's happening right now.
Welcome to our whole life.
Yeah, it's true. It's
like
true.
this is it. This is welcome.
True. Yeah. Okay. Before we get too further, there's one more thing I wanted to say as like a general thought up top. I chose the dub on this after watching both subs and dubs.
Oh, so you watch both subs and dubs?
I do that a lot now. When we pick a show, I'll watch a couple episodes sub, a couple episodes dub, and as I explained to your buddy on our YouTube comments, that a lot of time I'm multitasking when I'm watching these shows. So sometimes dubs just have to be the route. But in this one, dubs was chosen and I'll tell you why, dude. Because the translation in the dub was so funny. And in the sub, it was falling flat almost all the time. And I have some examples. So at one point, she says something like something half naked. And that's what it says in the subtitle. And in the dub, she goes something dressed like a hooker. And I'm dying, dude. At one point, she calls herself the Kanto Vagabond if you're reading the subs. But if you're listening to the dub, she goes, I'm the crazy bitch from Kanto. And so now I'm laughing more. Do you know what I mean?
But see, the problem with that, though, is you're missing out on a lot of the Easter eggs that they use, and they play on a lot of words in this anime, right? So Kill la Kill, for example, right? When we see it in North America with English, it's just Kill la Kill. Oh, cool. It's going to be... about killing, which kind of it is a little bit, but it's actually, if you translate the word, it's called kiru, I think, and it can either mean like sever, and then depending on which kind of kanji you use or whatever, it's like also wear, so like you can sever wearing or something like that. I think that's what
that's clever. But again, would I have got that? I don't think it even said that in the subtitles.
You wouldn't have got that.
So like, because cool, but not an argument against what I said there.
No, that's not true. How so?
Again,
because you're missing the point of how like it's so much deeper.
There's
so much more culture. Yeah. And there's this thing is littered with fucking Easter eggs.
Oh, I didn't catch them. I missed them.
For me, like based on what I'm hearing, like when you're describing how the dub was written, it sounded like they were trying to almost keep up with all the humor that was already present in the Japanese language that was there. Because I think Mikey's right. There is a lot of just actual Japanese humor here that you're right. Might not come across in
I'm not
subs,
going to catch it if I don't speak Japanese though, right?
100%, right? But I think that they can still maybe capture a bit of a vibe. You know what I mean? And I think that no matter what, when you get into a dub and it's American people, you know, I'm the crazy bitch from Kanto. Like that sounds like an American joke. Yeah. Written by a white person.
Yeah.
Right?
I liked it though.
Yeah,
for sure.
Localization probably was really good.
It might speak to people like yourself or whatnot, but to me, that almost feels a degree separated from the purest form of this show, which is the Japanese humor and the Japanese vibe.
Mm-hmm. To me, what it did was it added to the character, especially of Ryuko, because again, she's so feisty that to give her that feisty language on top of that made it just even more enjoyable to watch her be like that. So again, yes, it is probably a cultural divide why I enjoy that more, but that doesn't change that right now I'm enjoying that more. And in this show, I made a conscious choice. Yeah. And like, just as another example, at one point someone says, that looked painful and embarrassing, you masochistic exhibitionist. And in the dub, they just add the word, and you look like a hoe afterwards. And I was like, I can't not experience this way. I have to. It's too funny, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, and you know what? I bet that makes a lot of Western people love this show.
Yeah, it did for me. True. It was definitely an element for me. Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Also, you know what's funny too? Ryuko. I think they do this with a couple of different names too. If you take Ryu and Ko, like and separate the kanjis, I think it translates to like abandoned child.
Huh.
Right, which is a big spoiler for like because she was the abandoned child.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah,
very,
big
very
spoiler.
Cool. Yeah,
big.
Yeah, that was a huge reveal, man.
Spoiler up top, Mikey.
Yeah.
Well, I fucking warned you guys.
Yeah, as I always say, we'll get there, but you went there.
I went there.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready for some history on the show, to be honest with you. You want to throw some at us, Senpai Jay?
Alrighty, step up to the bat. Alrighty.
Step up to the Wikipedia plate.
That's right. Wow, man, I feel so seen.
It's okay. That's the best information comes from Wikipedia.
Kill la Kill, or in Japanese. Are you gonna be okay with this?
Kill la Kill.
I'm
not racist. I'm sorry for that one.
Please don't cancel.
Kiru.
Yeah.
Rakiru.
Of course.
Yeah.
Is a Japanese anime television series produced by Trigger. The series follows vagrant schoolgirl Ryuko Matoi on her search for her father's killer, which brings her into violent conflict with Satsuki Kiryuin, the iron-willed student council president of Hanuji Academy, and her mother's fashion empire. Ryuko, Satsuki, and others obtain martial arts superpowers from their clothes, which appear to have wills of their own. The series is Trigger's first original anime television project, directed by Horiyuki Imaishi and written by Kazuki Nakashima, both of whom had previously worked together on Mikey.
Gurren Lagann.
Yeah,
I've heard you guys say those words
I
so many times. It sounds like gibberish to me, but you guys talk about it with such high reverence.
Yeah, it's my waifu is in there. When she's older,
Yeah. We'll get to that.
yeah. We're gonna watch it eventually. I'm gonna make you watch it.
For
it's
sure.
So good.
I love how you had to add when she's older when we're talking about a show like this.
Jordy, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay. Yeah.
But yes, absolute classic anime, legendary status in my opinion. In 2007, that was. And would go on to work on Promare in 2019, which is a film which I've really been meaning to watch.
Interesting.
Kill la
I haven't
Kill.
even watched that one.
Kill la Kill was broadcast in Japan on MBS Animeism programming block between October 2013 and March 2014. So a relatively recent one within the last decade. An original video animation OVA was released as a 25th episode in September 2014. Which you guys didn't watch.
And I didn't watch. Sorry. I only found out about it late in the game, and I had a lot of fucking anime to watch this month, Jay.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we were a pretty big slave driver.
It's okay. I did it though.
Yeah,
I persevered.
A manga adaptation by Ryo Akazuki began serialization in Kadokawa Shoten's Young Ace magazine from October 2013 to March 2015. A video game adaptation titled Kill la Kill the Game IF was released in July 2019.
That game must be fun as fuck.
With slight deviations to the main storyline of the anime. Can confirm it is a very fun fighting beat 'em up style game.
Cool.
Just if you love these characters and you just want to screw around with their powers, and it's very good.
That's what I would want to do.
In North America, Aniplex of America licensed the anime for a simulcast with a home video release starting in July 2014. The series premiered in the United States on Adult Swim's Toonami block in February 2015. Classic Toonami. Exposing the masses.
Yeah.
How did I miss Toonami?
Adult Swim, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how did I miss it?
Like, did you have Adult Swim? It wasn't really an available channel to me.
My dad would buy the cable box every summer when I was a kid for like a couple months when we were out of school, and then return it. But like I was just watching like the movie network.
Wow, there you go. You didn't actively seek it out.
No, I wasn't looking for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was staying up as late as possible, literally in the hopes that I would see one of two things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anime.
Yeah.
Or softcore porn.
Well, me too, but I was just doing it on City TV for Red Shoe Diaries.
Of course.
And Baby Blue.
Oh my god!
but-
Dude! Oh my god! I can't believe you said. I haven't thought about those in like fucking
But
years.
that's where I was going for that stuff.
Dude, don't leave out Latin Lover, man.
Yeah. Can I just point out though that in all of those programs, all the women were of age.
Yes,
We hope.
Pointed out, yeah.
Yeah, we hope.
Well, I mean, yeah. Okay.
But anyway,
We are gross. Moving on. Okay, so let's get into the world, which is our next segment.
Yeah.
I actually feel like this is the first time in a while we've seen a different world. I feel like a lot
that's
of
not true, man. Our first fucking episode
I know.
on.
we have seen different worlds.
Yeah.
But we've also seen a lot where my notes just say it's Japan.
Yeah, and
This
the
was very different.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
It's
what I mean?
either
last few ones,
modern
yeah.
or our favorite old-timey Japan.
Old time in
Old-timey
Japan. Exactly. Yeah, with demons or magic.
Yeah.
Which this one also did have magic. But I will say that I definitely picked up on the fact
It's
that
not magic. It's fucking aliens.
you're right, magical aliens with powers. Yeah, but in this, they're in a school, which is part of the world, I should say. But what's cool about this show is that the school is political and also a military, and it's all basically feels like an allegory for war.
Yeah.
Like the whole show is the schools warring against other schools.
Yeah.
Which was very strange because it put children in a situation that children aren't typically in, which is like one of my favorite books when I was a kid was Ender's Game.
Yep.
And that's the premise of that book, right?
Dude, you are
Yeah.
gonna love Mecca.
Yeah.
Dude, Mecca's favorite thing to do is to put little tiny children in
Yep.
the middle of fucking war.
wars.
But when they
Yeah.
get in the Mecca, are they naked and in prone position?
Sometimes.
No. Not like this. That's this show. That's this show.
Yeah, that's right. Darling in the Franxx.
Darling in the Franxx.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you watch this show.
I find it weird that that's one of the figures of all the ones you have upstairs that you put here specifically. When I prefaced it by saying naked and in prone position in a Mecca.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll see the similarities when we get to it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got so much to cover.
But for
man,
now,
fuck.
we can definitely talk about the hilarity of that reveal, dude.
Yes. Okay, dude, that was a game changer. And like, we'll get there, of course, not later. But like,
We will get there.
Yeah, the way they surprise you with how they throw nudity at every element of the show was just fucking hilarious. The other thing about the world is the aliens. The suits have the powers and the life fibers. That kind of is world-esque, and they explain the how really early of how like the sewing club makes the suits, and it's kind of like a super soldier program.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the why becomes a big reveal later on when you find out the life fibers are aliens.
Yeah.
And the clothing was designed to control us, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So real quick, Jordan, just out of curiosity, because
Sure.
there's so much like magical, fantastical shit going on in this show.
Yeah.
Did you feel satisfied with the amount of explanation that you got? Because I know that you tend to be somebody who really needs shit to be
I'll say
explained.
that I did. And at first, no. Because until they say aliens, the whole concept of why the suits have powers, like I said, there's just no explanation.
Yeah.
But because the show's so silly, and not in a I'm rolling my eyes way, more of an I'm giggling at it way. Like
So
something
you can
of,
suspend disbelief for this?
something of,
Out of everything
Dude,
else,
because-
this is the show you can suspend
Yeah.
your dick.
yeah, you know
Come
why?
on.
Because there's no element in this show of taking itself seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why I'm like, honestly, I get you're just trying to make me laugh.
Yeah.
And then it was even more like well executed when they do finally give you the big reveal, because I'm like, oh, you were just trying to make me laugh, but also there was a meaning to all of it.
It's
Nothing
like
is
by
about
the end, you're
meaning.
like, why do I care so much
Yeah.
about these people?
Exactly.
But
yeah.
that's the thing, though. Like as silly as it was, there
Yeah.
are some really heavy topics in here.
Absolutely, yeah. But that's
Right?
also why I was like, it was hooking me.
Yeah.
Some of the other shows where I can't suspend disbelief, they're not hooking me as much. Whether it's with silliness or like intense themes, right? Or characters I actually care about for once in my life, right? This show had all of those elements. So I was ready to give it some grace. And in the end, it fucking delivered, dude, because anything I didn't understand, like I said, just they gave me a really good answer. Like everything wrapped up in a package. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, man. So
okay.
I won't dwell on it too long.
Yeah.
If you were liked that feeling and that was satisfying to you, watch that extra episode.
Okay.
Maybe we'll watch it later. This weekend or something, and we'll hang out and because it's the cherry on top of exactly what you just said about everything being well-rounded and explained and closed out.
Cool.
Because personally, to me, like this was one of the most satisfying, contained stories I've got out of anime in a long time. Maybe since Gurren Lagann.
Weird that it's good. Man.
It's a good one, man.
And it's contained. You're not waiting for Kill la Kill season 2.
No. That's what I love about it, right? Because a lot of these animes are based off of the mangas that have been going on forever, and then you never get a season 2 or you never get a season 3, right?
Yeah.
Right. They just wanted to sell more manga.
Yeah.
Which I get, but I just as a sole anime consumer, like. I need more.
But in a Western culture as well, that also is an element, right? Like sometimes a show will just drag, and I'm like, if you just wrapped it up a couple seasons ago, I would have been really happy, and that show would have gone on the shelf with legendary shows. But you just kept adding, and you lost it.
Nobody cares about legacy. They just care about money.
Exactly. And that's sad.
That's true.
So it's nice when a show like this, regardless of how absolutely ridiculous it is, it pulls that off somehow. Somehow it pulled it off. There's a lot of gush in this. Like, we're still talking about World. There's a lot of gush going on.
Yeah. The World's great, man. Especially how the fucking school, like, actually dictates your level of livelihood.
Yeah. True.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
There's that one little arc where Makko's family is, just getting more and more fucking famous, and like they start off being like this close-knit family and like loving each other and just not needing a lot of things until like they're all rich and like and they're so cold.
Well, it's like, I mean, it's almost communism, right? Like she's kind of a dictator, right? In a way, like
a little bit,
Anyways, we can move on to art, I think.
Okay.
Unless you have more World to talk about.
No. But like art, this Studio Trigger like literally has changed the landscape for anime with Kill la Kill.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a groundbreaking show for art in anime?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that from watching it.
Anything Studio Trigger does, dude, is like groundbreaking.
So
people rip it off almost immediately. People start ripping it off.
I was 50-50 on the art because the anime has a tendency to like make their characters and their foreground shit really simple and their background shit really detailed. And in this show, the foreground was like too simple and the background stuff was like detailed, but not detailed enough for me to say that's fucking amazing. So that's why I was like, it just felt fine to me.
It's heavily stylized. That's one thing I will say. So that like, this is going to hit some people the right way and some people not the right way. You know what I mean? I know some people just generally don't like the art style of this or Gurren Lagann or anything else that they do, right?
Those people aren't my friends.
Well, I'm your friend because I didn't hate it. I just thought it was like not... I'm surprised that you say this is a groundbreaking show for art.
Well, we got to consider too, like as far as anime style, like fighting and aesthetics go, there hasn't been anything like this comparatively when this first came out.
Yeah.
Right? Like Gurren Lagann was another one that had like stylistically was very different too.
I did definitely feel like a style. Like for example, like when I said the characters are like super simple, like that was clearly a choice and it lends itself to some of the like really silly slapsticky stuff. For example, in like the first episode, there's like a hot boiling pot of oil and a bunch of dudes fall in it. And when they hop out, they're like deep fried dudes. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. And you don't pull that off with detailed art. That has to be simple line drawn characters.
That's right. You have to establish a tone and like you said, a style and the artist who designs all these characters has a very unique, recognizable style that people like myself, I got another friend who works for Marvel Comics, who like this is his favorite shit because it's so different. Like it really is different. Like,
it is,
compared to other stuff. Like you look at an anime made by Trigger, you know immediately that it's Trigger.
Interesting. Okay.
100%. Right. Like, and you try to like the amount of anime that I consume, like, because right now, I'm watching like 10 different animes that are simulcast. Right.
That's a lot, dude.
10.
That's a lot.
I don't know how he doesn't mix it up all up in his head, dude. I really don't. You're a Marvel.
As far as names goes and titles, like I suffer from CRS. I can't remember shit. So it's like
sure, dude.
But like as far as like if I see what's happening in this, I know the story. But but regardless, like 5 out of those 10 animes look like the same studio, same artist, even though it was all done by different studios or whatever, right?
Okay,
Stylistically, like any 8 out of 10 isekai animes are like that.
Yeah,
right.
I
Like
get
you're
what
either
you're
gonna have like a Kirito knockoff, which is you don't know yet because we haven't done that episode, but
no idea
fucking
what you're
main
talking
character from Sword Art Online.
Okay.
Right. Like he's been like ripped off like I don't know how many times now.
Yeah.
The way I like to look at it is like Mikey's saying with all these different isekais, any one of them could walk out of their show and into one of the other shows.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think anything was up.
Yeah.
They would just look like another character from that show.
I see what you're
Whereas if Makko were to walk into
like Sword Art Online,
or Attack on Titan.
Yeah, like
you'd be like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I get you. I get that, like, because that is a style that I've come across a bunch of times with you guys, that kind of modern anime style. This actually had more of an old school style, which again is why I was like, it doesn't feel groundbreaking. But I guess like as a choice among the sea of shows doing the same thing, to choose to go back to that style.
Hand drawn.
I was just about to say it feels hand drawn. I don't know if it was, but it feels like
when
it.
did this come out again?
2013, 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fine. Groundbreaking surprises me, but now that you explain it, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. The other things about art, the suit designs were okay. You know what I mean? Like obviously a lot of it was to serve that kind of ridiculous, like almost nudity, and sometimes like what I call should be nudity. Like where's the nipples? Like there should be right there, and they're just not. And the suits were for that.
Well, I mean, it is still. What is this? I think this is rated M. I think on Netflix.
They couldn't get the like TVMA rating because they didn't put nipples or like actual genitals. They just Barbied the whole thing, which comes across a lot.
Funny enough, they actually did put genitals on like some of them, but like
who got genitals?
Makko's little brother, I think at one point when he was like taking a bath or something, like, but they're like little squigglies, right? Like
they used to do the same thing with Goku in Dragon Ball, where they would like he's a little kid in Dragon Ball, like when it first starts, and they draw a little wiener on him, right? And it's like it's supposed to make you laugh and be absurd, right? It's not supposed to be sexualized by any means.
Yeah.
And it just felt like 90% of the time there was just a void or like a flashing pink lens flare.
The lens flares for sure. That's a common thing.
That's a common way to censor.
I thought that was this show being funny.
No, that's a common thing.
It kind of is. No.
A choice for this show.
It is a choice for this show to like play on all of the other shows that do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except they were being like extra heavy-handed about it. You know what I mean? Where it's just like there's no reason there should be any lens flare in this dark ass room,
dude.
But there is.
And
that's
it's hot
them
pink.
being funny about it.
It's hot pink.
But that's the other thing too, is right. Like they're taking things from like Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Right, where it's all the sailor outfits, and like she's in a sailor outfit, and when she transforms, right, you have all those like weird little flashing lights that Sailor Moon had. Right?
It's funny you bring up Sailor Moon, dude, because growing up, because you watched it probably more than Jordy did growing up.
Oh, 100%.
Like never, maybe once because my sister had it on.
Did you not always think growing up, you're just
Meg.
like, she's sparkling like a holographic Pokemon card right now as she transforms, but like she's naked. Right? You thought that as a kid.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I swear to God, they were playing on that in this for their transformations to really play up the like fact that they have to get buck ass naked in order to transform. That's like a throwback to that.
Okay, and I guess as a person who doesn't have a rich history of watching anime like you guys do, those nuances are lost on me.
For sure. That's why I tell you them now.
But that's the thing though, like you've seen Sailor Moon, like whether it be 1 or 2 episodes, and you've seen them transform.
I don't remember it being like that though.
Yeah, well, that's because you didn't get rewarded like Kill la Kill would reward you.
Like with what? In what way? Like
with the fan service.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But like
as a 14-year-old
I wouldn't
boy,
call the fan service in this a reward. I would call it like a slimy feeling that I wanted to go have a shower afterwards because it was kind of gross.
I'm talking as a 14-year-old. As a 14-year-old boy.
Okay, sure, which I'm not. So
I think the omission of genitals and nipples was probably a rating thing in Japan.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and also an age thing. Like if they had made her 18, they can just get away with it. But they chose not to, and so they're like, "Oh, well, we can make her younger because we're not going to show her nipples anyways."
Yeah, I think even like in Western media, like as soon as you show certain things, you cross a threshold into a different territory.
Yeah, but I think a show like
that
this
would have pushed this show possibly into a territory that doesn't make this show marketable.
Well,
you can
but
still
also,
market
dude, if
this
you
show.
show nipples in a show like this, you end up in a territory where you're in jail. Like that's underage like porn, right?
Okay.
Like
Right, but
Yeah,
but it exists in Japan in hentai and in that world. Like it is
awful.
It's one of those
It
things
is.
that
It's
like
horrifying.
we have to accept that's the
you're right.
Japanese that's part of Japanese culture.
Okay.
Right, and then
I don't have to like that it exists.
yeah, you don't. Yeah, 'cause as a Westerner,
Yeah.
like that's not where you're coming
Yeah,
from. So
yeah.
I get that.
I think
But yeah.
ultimately, like I'll listen. I don't like that it's there either. I wish it wasn't. I wish I just didn't have to deal with it. I wish they just bumped them up a year in age, for fuck's sake. Like
Would have been
it's
so easy.
so easy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to justify their choices or their decisions.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to explain potentially why they're doing it and frame it not in a way where it feels like they're trying to enact harm on the world.
Sure.
Or traumatize people with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Them making them 17 wasn't to laugh in the face of anybody who's been abused underage or anything like that.
I didn't get
right?
that vibe at all.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it somebody might.
Yeah, I guess
Right? Because it's
the last thing I'll say is
that's
that
what
like,
it is.
even though you don't have that intention, sometimes you can have that effect. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so when you're making media for the public like this, you kind of have to have at least some level of conscience. And when you have 17-year-old girls with like,
I mean,
shit like this
that
going
being
on.
said, though, like this, what you said, this came out 2013.
2013,
2013. We're not nearly as I think most media companies aren't nearly as aware.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Of that kind of stuff. I mean, granted,
time doesn't make it okay, though. All I'm saying is it's just still not okay.
Okay, agreed.
And I think we don't have to. Early up on top of this episode, I said we're gonna get stuck on this, and here we are, fucking stuck on it.
Okay, but I think
We all agree it's gross.
Yes,
We're good. Yeah.
yeah. But I think this is the thing, though, right? Like because anime is filled with this, right?
Yeah.
And this is just a natural thing that Japanese animation and Japanese writers will do, and I think we just have to get past it and accept it because it's going to be coming up a lot.
Yeah.
Like we're on what? This is episode, I don't even fucking know.
Yeah.
12.
Who knows?
I
Within the
can't
first
remember.
20 for sure.
Yeah, right. So like by the time we're 100 episodes in, like you're gonna be so desensitized to it.
You know, I'm probably still gonna have to mention it, but we won't spend 20 minutes hashing it out like we are now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Fair.
really, I can't not mention it.
Yeah,
it's
fair.
weird to me.
Okay.
It'll never be not weird, I think.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Schweebs? Why don't you comment and let us know?
I'm curious.
I just ultimately, man, like just in the back of your head, target audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Target audience, target audience, target audience.
Yeah.
Because there are kids in high school, man, who that is not gross.
Mm-hmm.
For them.
Dude, but I'm sorry, but again, and I have to say, like, you can't put cigarettes in a colorful package because your target audience is kids. It's the same thing.
but-
But
Same
I
idea.
don't think that it's unhealthy for 16-year-olds to explore their sexuality with other 16-year-olds.
And I agree with you. I don't know, dude. It's hard to.
You
it's hard
accept
to
it.
let
You accept it. Shut the fuck up. Let's move on to the music.
All right, dude.
Let's move on.
Okay. We needed that. Thank you very much.
Snap back to reality.
I have no notes on the music, and I'm finding
What? Come on. And when she changes,
it just.
I can't even sing it right now. Like I wish I could sing it.
I know, but it's epic, dude.
I don't
And
remember.
It gives
I
me
mean,
chills every time.
The whole show was so big that the music being big didn't seem like a big deal, and it just like literally like just flew under my radar the whole time.
Oh no, it's so epic though.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember to sing it. But like the nice thing too about
Just
this
make it
Something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I dig it.
But the other thing too, though, which was really nice, is when that's like theme song would come in, and every time she changed, it wasn't like Sailor Moon or like Power Rangers or whatever, where they would rehash like this 2-minute like changing of outfits
so
long.
long.
You're right.
Like,
It was
it's-
like a quick little like 10-second. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Spin,
And
snap,
yeah,
boob
we're
bounce,
good.
and
Yeah.
look at me. Yeah.
Yeah, but like once in a while, when she was about to get into like an epic battle, then you would see the whole transformation.
The
You knew it was
whole
real then.
Yeah,
transformation.
you're just like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
Oh, we just got the full transformation video?
Yeah.
Oh, we're about.
She
shit's
means
ab-
business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
The full transformation video was, not to get back to it, but
Yeah.
like a lot of what we were talking about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that.
Do you know what's also great is when you transform and you get your like best like sailor outfit on, and when you're wearing that sailor outfit, you go to your computer and you subscribe to our channel wearing that sailor outfit.
You shameless dog.
Like, maybe comment wherever you're getting your podcast.
If any of you guys do that in a sailor uniform, please send us a video. We'll air it on the pod because we need that in order to validate Mikey because he's having a hard time with this, as is obvious.
We want a full transformation video.
Full transformation video.
Yeah, let's see it.
Oh god!
But
especially
please
if
do.
you cosplay as Ryuko.
Yeah.
While doing it,
Yeah.
like A+, plus.
Whether you cosplay or not, do like and subscribe and sign up for notifications because apparently that's a thing now. But anything goes a long way. We really appreciate
it's been
it.
a fucking thing forever.
It never used to be. People used to just get notifications of the things they follow, but now you have to follow and say, "Hey, I'd like to receive notifications from that."
Okay.
thing.
Well, anyway, help us out, Treeps.
We love it.
Love you.
We
Tell-
love you.
tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
That's the big one.
Tell a friend or 5. Tell your parents.
Your parents aren't going to like us. Your parents aren't going to like this episode. I can tell you that.
If they're cool, they will.
Yeah, maybe. My parents will not like this episode.
We'll invite them over for dinner.
I don't
Okay.
think you're going to do that.
Mikey might be offering that, but
Are you going to make them croquettes?
Yeah, I'm gonna make them with like mixed mystery meats.
I was gonna say with just random junk inside of it.
We all know that that's human meat, right?
No.
Like, that's where my brain went immediately. It's human meat.
You can see all the different things. They had like chicken, like shrimp, and like garbage.
Yeah.
All in there.
Bones.
Bones.
Human bones.
Bones are their money.
Okay. Let's talk about characters.
Okay.
Right up top, we got to talk about our girl Ryuko, who has that foul-mouthed, take-no-shit attitude that was just super badass.
Yeah.
I was all in on this character from the beginning. As soon as she just waltzes into that school, I'm like, oh, yeah, this girl's going to she's going to kill it.
Yep.
Immediately, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
What I like about her a lot is that she's like semi-OP. Like, you know she's super strong and you know she's going to come out on top. But sometimes she like gets her ass handed to her.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean? And then she has to like take a few days off and maybe like hang out in bed and be depressed a little bit.
Yeah, the amount of time she was just shut in her dark room, just like curled up, like don't fucking talk to me.
I need
Which
that.
is so like on par for a teenager.
Exactly.
Right.
And
Or
I
a
need that
30-year-old
in
man.
what I'm trying to say is I can relate to our girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I need that in an OP character because yes, of course I know the main character is going to win in the end, but you can't just give them win initial D because then I'm having a hard time watching this show. You know what I mean?
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put that when I edit this. It's just gonna be your face,
Yeah.
shaking the
Yeah.
whole time.
Flames coming out of my ears, just like
But that's the thing, right? The difference between that character who just never loses and this character who like has to take a hit and come back from it stronger is super important to me.
Well, that's the whole part of like the Dragon Ball Z aspect because they even say like every time she's beaten, she comes back stronger.
Totally.
and that's a saying.
And the other thing too is like that character development is integral to the plot because the way she bonds with Senketsu, right, allows her to be more powerful. So she takes a moment to step back, and in that moment, her and Senketsu have these conversations, and they like learn a bit more about each other. That because he doesn't know what he is and where he came from, right? So like those moments not only allow her to grow, but they allow them to grow together. Do you know what I mean? Which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Another thing about Senketsu, like,
Yeah.
and this is the whole thing about the paying attention to the names and the titles and stuff. Senketsu actually means like bloodletting or something like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
which
right?
is crazy because that's what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
He needs her blood in order to do his power.
And I can't remember what the other one is, but anyway, you Shreeps can look it up later.
Yeah, that's sick. Another thing about Senketsu is he's a fucking bro. Dude, he's just there for her, top to bottom, which is like amazing. Like that's the kind of sidekick you want in a show, right? Like when she's feeling down, he's worried for her. When she needs his help, he's there for her, right? When she doesn't know what the fuck to do, he's got an idea.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you need in a sidekick. And the way they played off each other was just brilliant, man.
I know, and the fact that like he gets lonely,
Yeah.
because he has nobody else to talk to,
Yeah.
it's such a good like character like trait. Like,
Yeah.
and
I
that
loved it.
I also really like that they reinforce that when she makes the decision to wear him,
Yeah.
they are stronger. And
Totally.
Yeah.
so like it just reinforces like that her agency and her choices matter and they're powerful things. Yeah. And I just think that's a really awesome message to send out.
Totally. You know? And like later on, when she chooses not to wear him and she's like super adamant and angry about it, he's like sad about it. Do you know what I mean?
Like my heart broken.
Right?
Just fucking.
Hold on. How many animes have we watched that have had the most lackluster bullshit, like meaningless relationships?
Yeah, between friends or sidekicks or whatever.
Or even romantic potentials in the shows where that goes absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
This one gives you all the feels, man, between a girl and her clothes, dude.
I know, dude. It's weird. I will say that, like, in the context of the silliness of the show, it was hard for me to take it that seriously, to feel the feels. But the writing was
cold,
there.
Man. You're cold.
No, dude. She's a fucking sailor suit. Relax, man.
It's so funny because like you defend her honor so much when she's topless in this show.
Yeah.
But you won't defend like her honor other than that.
I'll defend her honor. It's just that, like, again, like, dude, the show was so silly that the feels were like nice, but they weren't like giving me the feels. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like in context, it wasn't like.
Come on, you didn't feel like you know, you just wanted to root for this girl, especially like after she had to. Only have the scarf piece and had to get all the pieces back.
I was rooting
and, like,
for her, dude, but I wasn't clutching my chest like your name. Do you see what I'm saying?
Dude,
like, there's a difference between feeling the feels and feeling the feels. Do you know what I mean?
So when she's falling back down to earth.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Yeah,
but again, I wasn't
feel
crying.
Were you feeling?
I was feeling. It was nice.
Or at the end when she looks up into the sky.
Actually, you know what? Like, if anything, I was less feeling and I was more like excited because that was such a bro move from Senketsu. I was like, yes, Senketsu, you fucking go. This is what you need to do. This is what you needed to do from the beginning. Do you know what I mean? That's the vibe I was getting.
You know what? I'll accept that. I can accept that because those are feels anyway.
Yeah.
Just a different kind of feels.
That's why I said feel as long as you felt.
Yeah, it's in the context of hype versus the context of emotion. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Dude, I cry at everything. So
like,
don't take that as like a measure.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I fucking cried out like My Hero, man.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay, a couple other characters to talk about. Satsuke, whatever, how do you want to say her name?
Satsuki?
Yeah, she's like, again, that dictator, aggressive antagonist, but then she turns protagonist, which was a cool turn. You don't always see that in a show, you know what I mean? I was there for it. She wasn't super deep as a character, but she played her role. She was necessary to the plot, and it was fine. It was fine.
What?
I don't know, dude.
Are you saying...
As a character, as a plot point, yes, of course, she's very integral. As a character, I said that. As a character, she was just fine. Like there wasn't much depth to what she was going through.
Well, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
dude, this girl is fucking taking and like is going like it doesn't matter what she has to do to get her revenge on her mother and to like create a world where people are free from these aliens, and like not to mention like the shameless amount of whatever she has to look like in order to get that power, and also to bring people together and have these crazy loyal followers.
I don't know, dude. It was just
or how about what she has to undergo at the hands of her mother?
Yeah, of course.
And still come out as a hardened individual.
But she was already hardened well before that was happening, so it didn't feel like growth as it was happening. You know what I mean? She was already kind of an established character who just stayed that way all the way through.
Maybe it didn't feel like growth, but to me, it felt like enduring. It felt like her resolve was showing at every twist and turn. And I think that's the hallmark of a truly fantastic character. Personally,
agreed.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm just like way too into
Ryoko
to see anyone else as up to her level.
I really liked Satsuki because like you could tell that there was a tender like emotionality there that was being kind of buried, and she always did so under this like this cold, hardened exterior. Even like her interactions with her butler, who makes her tea and stuff. I loved their interactions together. I loved her character, man, because you could tell she was just this broken yet put back together individual, and it just was so interesting to see all the little pieces of herself that she had individually put back together herself, all the flashbacks to her as a young girl,
putting it together the team, or like when one of her subordinates fail, and she like they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, and I'm going to kill myself to redeem honor. It's like, no, you don't do that. We still have work to do.
Yeah.
You're worth it, right? Like you can see the tenderness again, like Jay's saying, is like come from that hardened exterior.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't see much of that. I get why it was there. It just didn't mean a lot to me that it was happening. Yeah. You can call me cold and say I'm heartless if you want now.
No, you said it yourself.
Okay.
maybe episode 25 might shift some
it could
feelings.
Be true. Yeah,
around.
but I just felt the way I felt about it.
Okay, fine.
I don't know. There's other characters like the nudist beach splendid naked officer, which is his title. Like this guy was fucking crazy, and like he has to start getting naked in order to explain to her anything serious.
Dude, come on, man, that's so fucking funny.
It was funny,
so
dude.
Good.
It was funny, man.
And it was just for laughs. Dude.
Yeah,
100%. 100%.
And especially like the poses, like where he's just like pushing his ass out and like pulling his hair back.
The clothes are slowly falling off.
Yeah, his fucking nipples are always like shining.
They're pink. Yeah.
Or like the fact that when he holsters his gun, it's the handle that sticks out
dick,
like his dick.
Yeah. Or like we mentioned earlier, the nude prone position, like Makko that he wears. Like, come on,
dude, so funny.
It's RPG.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
That was the name of the robot.
The robot,
okay,
right? Because people would say the full name. He's like, no, RPG.
It was the running joke.
He definitely was a comic relief character.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And again, he brought the nudist beach into the realm of the show, but like he was definitely a comic relief character.
Nudist beach, of course, being like the rebel faction of this whole
Of course, yeah. I know Jay wants to fucking talk about Makko. I actually don't have much to say about her because she's that kind of over the top, like ridiculous sidekick that I usually don't like.
I love her, dude.
And I didn't love her. She was fine, and just like everything in the show, it was funny enough that I was giggling and not rolling my eyes. But I know you loved her.
The smile that
so tell me why you love her.
The smile the smile that would come on my face anytime she was in the scene, dude.
Yeah.
She is just a beacon of like positivity and like hope for not just Ryuko. I mean, very much for Ryuko.
But she was like Ryuko's rock.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
Not just figuratively, literally. At one point, they tell her, they're like, "Listen, when she's crazy, you're the thing that calms her down and brings her back." That's a plot point.
I loved that, dude. And I love that they took a character that very easily could have been written off as exactly what you said, the goofy sidekick, over the top comic relief. But they gave her importance, and they reinforced that importance several different times over.
Yeah.
Where they would have been fucked without Makko, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely
for sure.
fucked.
Several
times. It wasn't just a one-time fluke for the gag. It was she's as written into the fibers, no pun intended, of this story as any other character.
Yeah.
So I love to see a side character get that kind of special treatment, especially one who's so funny and positive and happy and just adorable, man. And then I also really came to just love the little budding romance that you find out by the end with the two of them, right?
I also like that too, to be honest with you, because they don't really even touch on it. It's there if you want to see it's there, but they don't give it to you until the very end. And then once you see it, you're like, oh, of course.
Of course, but then they come right out and say it. They don't back it up, or they don't try and back out of it with like, oh, it's I don't mean it like that, or oh, they must be joking.
It's
like
just totally normalized.
No, we're going on a date because I like you a lot.
Yeah. And they also don't take it too far because that also could be a thing they could have done. Right?
That would have really upset you.
Yeah. Well, as it should. Maybe. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay, but here, so artistically though, the great thing about Makko, and I think this is why you may not like her as much, is when she goes on her little like monologues and little tangents, she goes into all these different poses.
Yeah,
I love it. Right? So yeah, we love it because I guess we kind of subconsciously understand. But when you take what she's saying and break down the different kanjis, those are actually depicted. So there's like kanji words for like sleep, and you'll see her like napping, and then she'll be like an octopus, and like they'll put her in an octopus suit and shit like that. Like, but you don't get that unless you know the culture and you know the language.
And I watched it in dub.
Exactly.
So I'm double not getting it in that regard. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like this. The great thing about Kill la Kill is that like if you know a little bit more about Japanese culture and the language, is that you're gonna see so much more nuances and so much more depth in the art style and the medium that like a lot of people would miss. Right. Like this thing is like there's a bunch of other cool, really cool Easter eggs, which I'll get to later when we get to them. But
okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear them. I'm serious. That's not even a joke. I'd love to hear them. I missed them all. And I understand that I lack the perception of nuance for things like this, but I'm here for them.
So the other thing too with the studio and the people that created this, they love Western movies.
Okay,
love Western movies.
Yeah,
and so there's I think there was a Terminator Easter egg. There was a Pulp Fiction Easter egg. So there's that one scene where they're running across a big lava pit. I think this is when they were doing the race to school, so you can't be late.
I remember that episode.
But they're running across this bridge and it breaks down, but it's a big lava pit.
Okay.
And one of the skeletons in there is actually a thumbs up, and in Terminator 2, that's how it ends.
That's right.
Right? Is the thumbs up. Pulp Fiction, where the family's driving Senkatsu to Ryuko.
Yeah.
You actually see John Travolta, Uma Thurman, cartoon versions of them. Yeah. You actually see them in the background.
That's cool. See, I dig shit like that. I never caught it, but I was too busy in that episode being appalled at what the fuck was going on. Dude, that episode was peak crazy of this show. At least so I thought at the time when I watched it, right?
Yeah, no, it gets fucking.
This show is it's I always like to call it these shows the trigger shows. They're like a Russian nesting doll, man.
Yeah.
You just start with one and you open it up and there's another one.
Something more intense inside.
And then you open it up and they just keep and there's just layer.
Before we get too deep into the layers of the nesting doll, the last thing I want to say actually about Makko is not just about her, but her family, who were very silly and fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But the way they take Ryuko in as a member of their family warmed my fucking heart, dude.
Yeah.
You want to call me cold and heartless as much as you want, and I get it. But in those moments, dude, I was like, she fucking needs a team on her side because she's lonely and alone. You know what I mean? And Senketsu is there for her. But this girl ended up with a fucking family. Dude.
Yeah, she was the abandoned girl.
Mrs. Makonshoku, man. Makko's mom.
Yeah.
What a sweet lady,
dude. One of the first time you meet her, what she says to Ryuko is hey, if beating the shit out of my kids and my husband makes you feel better, then go have at it.
Yeah.
And she just beats the shit out of them, dude.
And they deserve it.
Yeah, they did deserve it, right? Yeah.
Guts too, their dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I think there was something about Guts. I think he was supposed to be named after or one of the artists was supposed to play them. I can't remember.
Okay. Interesting.
All right, Schweebs, fucking, you guys search it up again.
Tell us about Guts.
Guts, yeah.
Do my job for me.
What you can do to do his job is go on Wikipedia and read us what it tells you about the show.
And then you've done my job.
Jay does a lot more for us than that, it should be stated.
Yeah.
We love Jay. Okay, so let's move on to the plot. So the first scene right off the bat, we're in school and we're getting a lesson on Nazis and Hitler, and I'm like, okay, I see where the show is going. Right off the bat, they start off with the peak of most intense, and not to mention not intense, but war shit. Right, and political, that's what the show's about.
Yeah.
So that was cool, and it is a foreshadow to the whole theme of the show, which is humans are monsters and parasites, but in the end, there's an actual parasite that's fucking everybody up. You know what I mean? That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then this little shithead in class says something stupid and gets fucked up by this massive dude, and I was like, oh, this is where the show is going. So they're literally giving you everything what you want to expect in the show in one scene. Which was kind of cool. And then we meet Ryuko. She shows up. She's pissed. And she gets turned away and she gets violated by a garment. That garment forced itself upon her, which was uncomfortable to watch. And again, they explain it away later. Right? But that was just one of those elements on top of all this underage whatever shit.
I mean the mechanic was explained when you find out that guy stole the 1-star Goku outfit, right? Or
yeah. Well, and Senketsu was blood hungry, bloodthirsty because it was been sitting dormant for so long.
Yeah.
It fucking needed to get on her, and also from a perspective of a viewer, it needed to get on her. So get that shit on and let's get going.
Side note, totally off kilter, but in the classroom when you see them when she transfers in, there's a guy there with Iron Man and the Hulk.
Oh, crazy
toys! Yeah,
really?
That he's playing with. Yeah.
Oh, wild.
Interesting.
Yeah,
man. You got all the Easter eggs,
killing
dude.
it with the Easter eggs.
Yeah, man. Fuck, I've seen this a couple times.
Hell yeah.
Well, keep them coming. They're cool. Okay, so then she, now that she's wearing Senketsu, she comes back and she's like, I'm gonna take you on, basically, right? And so the way she defeats people is by slicing off their clothes with a sword.
Yes.
But her sword is actually a half a pair of scissors. And so again, this is one of those things where like on paper, you're like, what the fuck? But when you watch the show and as it progresses, like nothing is what the fuck. Everything is like maybe what the fuck at first, but then they just give you an answer, which as we all know, I fucking need. You know what I mean?
Spelt out.
And they did. They spelled every fucking thing out.
But the fact that after getting every answer, you were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of being like, no thanks.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
Well, and again, the show was so ridiculous that when they give me an answer that's kind of ridiculous, I was like, makes sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? In context of everything else,
I hope that continues to happen though with the more shit that we show you.
It may or may not.
No, because but dude, I think that if we, instead of Soul Eater being first, if we had started with this, I don't know if you would have liked it as much. Man.
You're probably right. And actually, one of my notes up top that I skipped over earlier is that like this actually had Soul Eater vibes, but just better, cleaner, tighter. Do you know what I mean? It was a school. It was children have to learn skills, you know what I mean? And then they serve the school or the purposes of the school. It was just reading Soul Eater top to bottom for me. And I know Soul Eater is not like an influential or groundbreaking like anime, which this one may have been, but this one
stylistically, it was definitely up there.
Was it?
I think, yeah, Soul Eater. Well, it was just different.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
It might always just be the like peak like whack anime for me forever, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, dude.
Okay, you know what? So the guys who made Soul Eater also made Fire Force.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna make you watch that one too. Okay. And that one I think is a bit more polished and well packaged with some more explanations for you.
Yeah. Soul Eater wasn't just because of lack of explanations, might I add. There was a lot of shit going on.
But again, you fucking love Excalibur, okay?
Yeah, that's the one. I think I gave it a 2 out of 10, and one of those points is for Excalibur.
Generally, this felt far more fleshed out and thoroughly
polished,
thought
tighter,
through.
neat little package. Everything wraps up. Yeah. Everything. Okay, so moving on, we can talk about the life fibers.
Yes.
Because you learn about them, and that's the main like element of the show. That's how the outfits work, right? So like there's a bit of a theme in the show you addressed earlier about their like not being ashamed of your exposed body, right? Which becomes an element later because it really is a show about confidence. Do you know what I mean? Like these people are all kind of meek. They've all gone through some shit, but the more confidence and the more support they get, they can be stronger and do what they need to do, right? So then Satsuki starts saying things like pigs in humans clothing, she keeps saying. And I knew this was going to become a theme even before I knew what the theme was, right? And in the end, they haven't given it to you yet, but clothing is the theme. You know what I mean? Which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Like everybody, like we evolved because of life fibers.
I know, dude. Yeah.
Like it pushed us.
It's so bizarre, and it's so bizarre that it works.
It's a fresh take.
I don't want it to work. It's new,
dude. I have never seen anything that suggested that as we continued to develop clothing, it was that clothing itself that pushed our evolution further in response. I've never seen a sci-fi take on that ever before.
Sure.
It's entirely fresh take.
I can't think of one either, to be honest with you.
And what's weird is I don't know if this is intentional or not, but like it kind of feels almost like it is. Mikey, you might agree or not, but like there's also kind of this trope in a lot of anime, especially a lot of battle anime, where as somebody continues to be beaten down or perhaps defeated, oftentimes their clothes will rip off. Or fly off or be removed. And somebody is truly defeated when they're laying on the ground almost naked and just tatters and ribbons of clothing, right?
Yeah, like how often do we see Goku without his fucking shirt on?
You know he's he's at the end of his rope when he's only wearing half of his fucking gi. You know what I mean?
Because he's been through it.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And it's almost like they took that trope and made an entire show about it.
Yeah. And again, of all the shows for a hot take like that to work, I still am so appalled that this show works as well as it does. But it just does, and I can't explain it. I don't know. It's a riot, dude, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, so another plot point is the mystery of Ryuko's dad.
Yeah.
And that's a huge one. And it's like kind of cool that it's a slow burn because again, and I'm going to sound like a broken record now, but like you don't expect a show like this to be giving you slow burns like that. But it does. You know what I mean? It just does. And it's developed like in almost all the episodes. Like once it's introduced, they give you a piece of it each time. Do you know what I mean? They just keep inching you there and inching you there. And that's what hooks you, me anyhow, right? That's what I need. Okay, so then we could talk a little bit about the Elite Four and the school, the battle, like the way it works, the training, I guess you could call that.
So I think the Elite Four was supposed to be like a play on the four gods of like, or protectors of heaven from like Chinese folklore.
I will name them for you: Kinky Iron Man, Sexy RoboCop, Erotic Marching Band, Symphony Conductor, and then there's like your typical blind martial arts instructor. That's the Elite Four, right?
Kinky Iron Man.
So Kinky Iron Man.
Yeah, Kinky Iron Man.
At first,
Gamaguri.
The fucking one got.
I legitimately could not remember his name, but then again, like Japanese is so foreign to me that his name was like didn't land in my brain. But he was a cool character, and like, he's strong, he's fighting, and then suddenly he has to climax to release his full power in his impenetrable straitjacket,
Shackle regalia,
with a ball gag in his mouth, and then he has to start. And then you realize like he's only gaining power when he's being attacked, and so she stops attacking him, so he starts like self-flagellating in order to grow stronger. It just kept getting crazier, and then his ultimate move in the end was called Ultimate Whip of Love, which is essentially a projectile dick weapon. So like everything just was so over the top, man, and hard to swallow, but not in a way that's making me facepalm. In a way that's making me laugh. And maybe I can't explain why, because in another show, this might make me roll my eyes into the back of my head. Yeah. But it was just so funny.
I'm glad you swallowed Gamaguri's whip of love in the end.
I mean, I swallowed the concept of Gamaguri's whip of love.
You swallowed the concept?
No. Ew.
Well, that's what it sounded like you said, buddy.
Moving on. Okay, so here's another cool thing about the Elite Four. Ryuko takes all four of them on like episode 9. Which is like pretty early on for her to be facing what up till now you think are the top like bad guys.
I think that's the mark of like the good writing, because
I agree.
From what I remember reading about it like a little while ago was that the producers actually didn't know where the story was going.
Yeah. And like you said, they didn't storyboard right off the bat, right?
Storyboard right off the back, right? So I think that's why like the pacing's a little bit different from the first few episodes, and that's why we got so much more of that, Monster of the Week kind of thing happening at the beginning, and then that just went out the window, and then we actually went into the story.
And honestly, dude, I love that.
Yeah.
Because Monster of the Week as a mechanism to set up a bigger plot, fine. But when you stay in that rut the whole time of Monster of the Week, you're losing me at least. Maybe not you two, but I'm done.
But here's the other thing, though. I think by going and fighting all of these guys relatively quickly, just goes to show that it's like, oh shit, there's a whole shit ton more about to happen.
Exactly. Right. And that's my exact note, dude. It just showed me there's a lot more to go. And not to mention, while she's fighting them, she learns the life fiber synchronization move, right? So she levels up. She levels up her suit, right?
Shippu.
Yeah, which also, again, like, stop yelling the names of your move as you're doing them.
Yo, that's just a Japanese thing. Accept that one! That's just an accepted, man. Let's move on.
Okay. That's definitely an accepted.
Yeah, in a real world fight, though, like, that's not helping you. You want your move to be secret, and you want to sneak attack them and get it in there. You're screaming it as you're coming at them. So that was cool. She learned, she levels up, right? So I'm like, okay, not only is there a lot more to go, but we know that she's growing as this is happening, which Again, give me more of that. More.
She's not only growing, but she's also learning that there's dangers in using her power.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's what happens next. Is that fucking like random cute girl whose name also I can't remember shows up.
Harime.
And immediately we find out she killed Ryuko's dad.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, we'll kill that bitch. And so Senketsu then goes like ultra beast mode. Yeah. And Senketsu and Ryuko are all deformed and fucked up, right? So you're right. Not only is she leveling up, but she's also like realizing like, okay, like I can't control this yet. Yeah. There's limits to this, right?
Dude, so little fun tidbits too. So what was her name? Harime. So I think it's like if you separate Hari and Mei, it's like one is so and I.
Okay.
Yes, right? So like
it's like
so
I killed your dad.
Yeah, no, like sewing.
Oh, sewing?
Yeah, like sewing. Because she stitches everything together, right?
She does?
Yeah, she's the one that stitches like and makes all the dresses. Like she made the dress for the mom at the end, right?
Okay.
And she's the one that can like cut life fibers with her pinky.
I'll be honest with you. She was bothering me. And so like, I think I just like tuned her out of my mind for most of the show.
Oh my God.
Sorry,
You know,
dude.
I think you're kind of supposed to hate her though, right?
I
Yeah,
did
you
hate her,
are.
but not only did
Yeah.
I hate her, I just was like disinterested with her.
Yeah.
I kept thinking like, okay, get rid of her and get back to the part of the story that's
Yeah,
good.
and this
You know
one's
what I mean?
more
Yeah.
so for Jay because we haven't made you watch this one yet.
Yeah.
But so the point where she's like all deformed and decrepit, and like all the blood is going everywhere, and there's all the flashing stars. Those stars and the blood are directly from Eva.
My daughter?
No, not your daughter. Evangelion.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so those stars are an exact copy of the stars that are from Evangelion.
okay.
And like, you know, where Eva 1, like, he gets all like the blood splatters everywhere when he goes all like crazy.
Berserk mode?
Berserk
Yeah,
mode.
yeah, yeah.
It's the same idea. So that's where the direct reference is from.
Again with
Cool.
the fucking Easter eggs, my dude.
Yeah,
Cool.
dude.
You're
Like
killing
I'm
it.
saying.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out for that when I
Yeah.
watch this again because
Yeah.
I definitely will be watching this one again.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Also, okay, I think this is my last one from what I remember. Each episode title is like, I think, a Japanese song.
Okay.
Yeah, which
Oh,
I
cool.
thought was kind of neat.
That is kind of
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig when they do that.
Yeah.
They did that in Parasite with like, Western
With-
novels.
yeah.
But again, like that one kind of ended up bugging me because they weren't relative to the story. They were just like picking titles of books and throwing them on top.
That was you flexing your most nerdy, like unique nerdiness.
Books is my most unique nerdiness, dude.
Like what? Like old school Western literature, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you love Catcher in the Rye, dude.
I do like Catcher in the Rye. It's not my favorite, but it's a fine book.
I want to say nerd so bad, but like that one's just cringe, man.
No, it's smart, educated gentleman, not nerd. You guys are the fucking nerds. Let's move on.
Jordy, milady.
No, it's sir, gentlemen. Yes, I am distinguished. I read
Look at this
books.
distinguished gentleman.
Yeah, but I read books with
how he
words, more words than pictures. How about that?
So
Yeah,
I
so?
like pictures.
Okay. Let's talk about the next plot point.
Okay.
I guess the next thing is like the track meet, which also happens to be the main battle in the war. Which is such a
Yeah.
weird context, right? Like they go off to a track meet, right?
Yeah.
But really, it's just all the schools fighting over each other for supremacy.
Battle
Which
Royale.
again, I like that.
That's not the main war.
It's the main war before.
That was
it's,
the precursor to the main war.
You're right. It's the main war on like a human level before
Yeah.
the life fibers start asserting themselves to a point that you didn't know they even could until then. But yeah, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. Things were just getting more and more and more. And during this process, we get an intro to what you guys mentioned before, the molestation
Yeah.
of Satsuki by her own mother.
Yeah. I feel like we should just skip this.
Let's just add it to the earlier conversation
Yeah,
of some things in
yeah.
the show are gross.
Yeah,
They're not cool.
That one is, but I think that also adds to the depth of like how cold and how broken she is,
Yeah.
right, as a character.
Yeah, and also, as Jay says, oftentimes it makes you really hate
Raggio.
her mom. You hate
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
so
Oh
much.
my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
At
what
that
the
point,
fuck?
to me, it was like Raggio. Like you see obviously that she's the big bad behind the big bad of the series when you first get introduced to her.
Yeah.
But you're right. They waste no time in stripping her of all humanity.
Yeah. She
Like,
is just straight vile
Just
villainous.
a monster. You're just
Yeah.
like, this isn't even, I can't even look at this like a human being
Yeah.
from this point on anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From that point, it was, okay, so she's either a demon monster or something, and then you eventually find out more or less an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the end.
Or like she was a human, but she's like so now controlled by the aliens. that
she's more of an alien than a human.
Yeah,
She's
she's,
there-
all
yeah,
like
exactly.
hybrid now.
Yeah,
But,
she's there. She's the catalyst by which they will take over the Earth, essentially.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so during this battle, let's move on from that because that's hard to talk about. So during this battle, a bunch of things happen, right?
Yeah.
So you find out that the cute girl is working. Again, I'm going to call her that because that's what I called her in all my notes. The cute girl is working for the mom, and she killed Ryuko's dad. And then also at some point, Senketsu is torn to shreds.
Yeah.
And all the shreds are handed out to all the like elite warriors of the school. And then Ryuko fucking rallies with just a piece of Senketsu and goes beast mode and gets all the pieces back.
Yep.
Which was like a really cool plot point, right? Like to me, it was cool.
It's really cool is that like she accomplished like this collecting of items that some animes will take over 100 episodes to accomplish.
And thank the fucking Lord she did, because those
like the Shikan Jewel or something, like Inuyasha kind of comes to mind.
They literally wrote in an infinity plot concept with that one. And in this one, they could have as well, but they didn't. They just gave you something. She snagged them all immediately.
One episode later, she got it all back.
I loved it. And she was badass while she did it.
But I think that was the best plot point, just to show that she has gotten so much stronger from when she started.
Yeah.
Right? Like
true, exactly.
They even say that in the anime.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
So
other things that happen in that scene, like a giant gold gangster lobster is defeated with sodomy. Like, that might have been the most bizarre thing I watched in this whole show, dude.
You messaged me when that happened.
I did immediately. I did, because I couldn't handle it. It's like the time I messaged you about the spider from Hunter x Hunter, because it was just so bizarre, dude. Like,
I mean, that character, I forget his name, the guy with the gold teeth.
Yeah, he's like the little, like, I don't know, gangster kind of dude.
Yeah, to me, he felt like America. You know what I mean? Like, all wrapped up into one character.
And honestly, probably that's what they were going for. He was capitalism and all this.
Yeah, that's exactly. I guess more so what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, so what else happens in this battle is the nudist beach shows up and saves the day.
Nudist beach.
And so then we realize that they're not just like naked, sexy teacher dude and Mohawk man.
Yeah.
They're also like a rebellion faction, right?
Yep.
And so now they're like teamed up. There's like this like super team. Do you know what I mean? Which is cool. And the super team gets bigger later on, because eventually it's not just Ryuko and Makko and the nudist beach, because then
they all become nudist beaches.
They all become nudist beach because they have a common enemy. It's the aliens, right?
Yeah.
And the aliens headed up by the mom, which is why the school I never fucking remember her name, but the dictator chick, they all rally.
Oh.
They all rally. So we have all the backstory now.
No, that
The main bad guy who runs the school.
Satsuki?
I forget her name every time.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we know all the backstory now. The clothing was created by life fibers. They're actually alien parasites. They evolved our brains basically to cultivate us for food, which, like, again, at the time I was like, this is fucking whack, but also it's this show, so all right, moving on. Like, I just, dude, there's no show that I've been able to accept it more than this show.
That's music to my ears. That's all I ever wanted.
Yeah.
But isn't it just confusing though? Like, why this one?
Can I be honest with you, dude? It's confusing for me too. It's very confusing for me as well.
I mean, trust me, dude. I back it. Like, this is a masterpiece, top to bottom, in my opinion. So
why though, man? Like, I can't figure out why. I mean, like, we're saying why. But all the reasons why it shouldn't be a masterpiece on paper don't bother me. I don't understand.
You know what? I think it's just that it's so out of the realm of, like, trying to be grounded in some places where, like, all the other animes are trying to be grounded in certain little things.
Yeah.
Where this has no grounding anywhere. It's just so fucking elaborate.
Doesn't even try.
So fucking it doesn't try.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, okay. I'm not going to trying to make sense of this shit, and I'm just going to enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
They even say that towards the end. They're just like, that's kind of our point. Like, that's kind of our deal as a team, is that we don't make any sense.
And honestly, and it did that for me. And if it wasn't funny as well, it wouldn't have done that for me. But it was that plus funny, and I was like, okay, this show is keeping my interest. You know what I mean?
For me, like, not to, like, you know, be too general here. We're going through specific plot points, but just generally speaking, like, this just feels like a really pure vision from somebody's brain or you know, or heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like this truly came out how they wanted from the deepest parts of their brain, with no interference, no, you know, people shutting anything down. This is just a pure artistic vision.
So here's the thing. I'm glad that happened, but I'm also terrified for that person to have that brain in their head.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
I feel blessed I get to look inside.
Same, but I would not wish having that brain on my worst enemy.
You know what the other thing too, though, because I don't think this was a manga before, right?
I don't think so.
Right?
The manga came after.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so concise, because when you have an anime that's based on a manga,
it tends to run on.
It tends to run on a little bit, right? Where it's like, okay, we have 24 episodes that we're gonna work with.
Yep.
Let's get everything in what we need, and it's so much more concise.
It worked, man.
Yeah,
they did a good job.
Okay,
so let's quickly run through the last couple plot points. So we learned that Ryuko's dad started the nudist beach, so he was the leader of the rebellion from the beginning, right? there's this massive showdown with the mom who gets like legitimately crucified, right?
Yeah.
And we also learn that she's even more so the scum of the earth because she was like experimenting on babies with this life fiber shit and killing babies and like
killing her own baby.
And that Ryuko's dad was also this lady's husband and also Satsuki's dad.
Yeah.
So they're all related now in some
They're
weird fucking
sisters.
family.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
exactly.
sisters.
Dude.
Yeah.
Because she's the baby that they thought they killed but never died.
Yeah.
Right? That's the huge twist in the show.
Yeah.
So they're sisters. This mom who's crazy is also her mom. And then she gets like legitimately crucified.
Yeah. So did you see that coming?
No.
Oh, I'm
No.
so happy that you guys didn't see that
you?
coming. I had a
The
little,
first time you watched it anyways?
Yeah, the first time I watched it, I had like a little inkling of it.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, they keep referring back to like the baby and referring to to certain things that I just kind of
They did go back to it a bunch of times. And my brain, here's the thing, I'm a simpleton. So like shit gets past me all the time, okay? So like when they kept doing that, I was like, I had Jay's voice in my head being like, oh, they're doing that to make you hate her. I'm like, yeah, I do. I hate her. And then when they gave me that, I was like, what? You know what I mean? It was crazy.
I knew there had to be some connection.
Some tie-in, yeah.
You know what I mean? They were alluding to some deeper connection, at least between Ryuko and Satsuki.
Yeah.
But I did not know what it would be, and I didn't think that they were gonna go straight up fucking sisters.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that they were gonna justify it in such a successful way because it totally makes sense within the plot of the story.
Yeah,
And
the
it's all
plot was
justified.
airtight, man, and in a weird way because again, the plot, as we'll get
So
to,
outrageous.
it's about clothes, and in the end, the natural progression of the plot equals like a nude world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like-
free from being eaten by aliens.
Yeah, the clothing is our oppressors, and now we must all be nude. Okay, so
nudist beach. I'm taking my clothes off, guys.
do it. He'll never. You guys are missing out though, because he probably looks really good under there. Okay, so and there's zombies now. That's another thing. Just randomly for one scene. Okay, so there's a time jump, and we like jump forward into like literally Mad Max world because there's like alien life fiber flying like white leisure suits flying around attacking everybody. And everyone's in survival mode. Ryuko's all ragey at Senketsu because now she thinks he's one of them, which he's not really.
No, what it was is because she hated herself because she felt like she was human the whole time, and then she finds out that she's not human anymore because she's got all her fibers. Like that's why she can regenerate.
It felt to me like she felt like she was being manipulated by a light fiber being. Now knowing what all their motives were, it felt to me like she's like, you're one of them. I can never fucking put you on because your goal, just like them, is to eliminate the human race.
No, I
think she was more scared of what their partnership meant. If he was what she found out he was, and she was to wear him.
Yeah.
I think Mikey's right that she hates and is scared of what she becomes if she continues to wear him.
Okay, and now that you're saying that, it's there. 100%.
The monster that they become together
is terrifying.
Is terrifying to her, and she hates that she's part of that.
And do you know what show we've covered that is as well too? Parasite. Yeah, 100%. And I could not stop thinking about that at that point anyways. But yeah, anyways, after that, there's like a bunch of instances in which like a couple of the suits, what are they called?
Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, the flying ones?
Kamui.
Okay, I'm senpai now. So a bunch of the Kamuis start getting like passed around, right?
Yeah.
So Ryuko and Satsuki trade, and at one point, like Makko is wearing Senketsu, and I just kind of wish that she got to transform. Just once.
I know.
She didn't, right?
They were teasing it, and I was just like, "Don't do this to me."
I wish that
they're
she
gonna
could've.
give this to me, and
Yeah,
then they pull it out from underneath you.
Yeah, but that's for your imagination to hold.
Yeah,
dear.
but the older sister got to wear Senketsu, which was great.
I love that.
Yeah.
and that
I
was
love
cool.
that.
They traded, and it was it reminded me of like in Power Rangers when the Green Ranger crests kept getting passed around. Like the Red Ranger wore it for a while, the Black Ranger I think wore it in one episode.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, cool. This is like my childhood.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fucking cool. And then in the end, they have to slice Ryuko open and shove Senketsu inside of her because she's like being controlled by the other suit.
Yeah.
Like that was fucking weird. It started to get bizarre a little bit.
Yeah, but you gotta understand.
started
like,
to?
it's-
I mean,
yeah, like
in a way that like was starting to lose me. Like it started to get maybe too bizarre too fast or something, or like a little too outside of the package they had built. You know what I mean? Because there's this scene where after they slice her open, Makko somehow gets sucked inside. I'm like, how did a human go inside? And then
Well,
inside,
she's not technically human.
Makko?
No. Ryoko is not technically human anymore at that point, right? Like,
Yeah.
because she's all life fiber on the inside. So, again, suspend your disbelief.
Okay. And honestly, I was able to. I was just also identifying that it was like leveling up its like absurdity, which is
That's
bizarre.
what this show. That's what Trigger does.
That
bro.
is
You're
what
right.
Trigger
You're
does.
I
right.
cannot wait for you to watch Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
man.
You're
Oh
right,
my
dude.
god,
Yeah.
dude.
Because even inside her body, like she slices Makko up, and it just doesn't work. Like that move didn't work. She was so convicted in her like being taken over at that point. It wasn't gonna happen. Then she fucking rips that other suit off her body, which is like a Ghost in the Shell move. And that was one of the most intense scenes of the show.
Yeah. Because she could have died.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally could have died.
Just like Ghost in the Shell.
You feel
same
like
thing,
you feel
right?
like she's skinning herself alive.
Yeah.
Totally. And then she's standing there with like a full frontal Barbie doll situation, not even a couple straps in place of where you could like maybe think if the nipples were really far apart, maybe those straps would cover them. In this situation, there's just no straps, a full on Barbie doll human being. And then like, again, it starts getting wild. Like there's a giant ball of life fibers that's like gaining power as it's preparing to take over the world.
Yeah,
essentially.
that was the original life fiber ball. That was like a spaceship, essentially. For them, right?
Yeah. Crazy. Anyways, and then basically like they team up and they win.
Yep.
And that's kind of the end, right?
Yep. Well, for
there's
the
that-
most part,
there's
well,
that-
they go to space.
They go
and,
to space, I was just about to
but
say.
but essentially that's where it had to have gone.
Exactly.
Right, like that's the climax where like we have to do the big battle.
Yeah.
And the big battle is fucking flashy and crazy.
It is,
and
yeah.
Like
The sad part about the big battle is because all the battles were so big, that big battle didn't feel as big as it should have.
I'll agree with you
That's the
there.
only vibe I had at the end. And again, this is coming from a person who like really enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just can't enjoy this battle as much as I wish that I could because it just felt a little bit like more of the same.
Yeah, because and I think the reason why is when they battled the big fucking spaceship ball, like that felt like that was going to be the big battle. Yeah, but it wasn't. That was the precursor
for sure.
And you're like, oh, they're going even crazier.
Yeah.
Right.
And everything's a precursor to something crazier, like Jay said in a show like this. But it gets to a point after a while where you're like, okay, let's just get to the end now, please.
It feels like they're putting all this pressure on themselves to have to constantly up the ante and clear the bar that they've previously set for themselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're going to successfully do that, and it's going to be super satisfying. And you're gonna get that feeling of like everything's shaking up, and then boom, now we're this big. Yeah. And then it shakes up, and now boom, we're at this scale.
Totally. Yeah.
That's satisfying. But if you don't successfully blow up the scale, you feel like you've stagnated. Now you feel like the show is plateaued.
And I think that last battle just didn't quite blow up the scale as much as it should have in order for it to be the final battle.
Fair enough, yeah.
Anyways, like you said, they go into space, and then there's that crazy scene where they're coming back to Earth, and there's no life fibers anymore, right? There's just Senkets. And in order to save Ryuko, he has to sacrifice himself and make himself a shield, which is crazy because now we're back to not just the beginning of the show, but the beginning of fucking humanity. Because there's no more life fibers, and literally now everybody is nude.
Yeah.
She lands on a pile of nude humans who all rallied together to save her as well.
Another moment where Makko comes clutch.
Exactly, yeah.
Clutch.
And then the last thing that happens is it's raining naked humans in fetal position. That's how they close this show out. And honestly, how else are you going to close the show out?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right?
Mic drop.
Like we
Mic drop.
didn't
Exactly.
Yeah, well, we didn't cover the fact that like the company with all the kamois was the one providing clothes for the entire world.
That's right. Reebok.
Reeboks.
Yeah,
AKA
Not
cup-
Reebok. Sorry, not Reebok.
It covers backwards,
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
which is what they were called. They were called covers. So
Covers.
companies called Reeboks.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they did it like really well, and I loved how they ended it too, as far as like just kind of seeing like you got them back together, like they're hanging out with the sisters and you're going on a date, right?
Yeah.
Like she's got short hair now.
Yeah.
Right. It was such a nice little like, because I generally don't like epilogues.
Right.
Right. Like my biggest example is always like, I wish when they like Lord of the Rings, for example,
How many times did they fade to black and then come back for another scene?
Yeah. I think if
I loved every single time.
I love that movie, but the first time I was watching it, I felt like I was being made a fool of.
Yeah. Well, I
You know what I
think
mean?
I honestly think this is the reason why I don't like epilogues. Okay, because of this movie. So they like when Frodo. We're totally going on a fucking tangent.
Do it.
Guys.
That's all right.
Do it.
As
Do
we
it.
do, yeah.
Commit.
You earned this tangent with all your Easter eggs, buddy.
Thank you. But like when he finally like gets rid of the ring and it's Frodo and fucking Sam on the rock with all the lava, it should have just ended there, right? Because if they came back with the fucking Griffin, right?
The
Eagles or whatever, right? Like that just like why didn't you just take the fucking Eagles earlier?
I disagree. I know what you're trying to get at about.
We can get it.
We can get more satisfying.
We can get into this later. I'm a big Tolkien nerd, and I have a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons why they didn't
guys,
just take the Eagles.
Yeah. Let in my Shreeves, if you want to hear a flip the script.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do some fucking notes.
Listen. Gwaihir and the other legendary Eagles were very busy. Okay. Gwaihir had some other shit going on. I'll wear that one with pride, my friend.
Anyway, let's close this off.
Let's close it off.
I can't believe we ended on a Lord of the Rings. Why didn't they just take the Eagles note? The absurdity matches this show. I love it,
dude. It really does. Okay. Closing thoughts. This show was a blast to watch.
Okay.
Ryuko's a fantastic character with growth. General badassery is top notch. Again, the underage pseudo nudity was rough, as was established. We can move on from that. And it sadly is kind of like so. It's such a huge part of the show that I just couldn't get it out of my head. So if the score is not as high as it sounds like it should be based on how I described the show in this episode, it's because of that. But I'm going to give this show an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, I can take that.
That's really good.
Take that. Yeah.
Based on how our conversation went, you might have thought I was going to give it a 9 or even higher because like I don't think I really had anything else bad to say about it.
No, I thought the way that you were kind of leading up with the whole because of this and like I thought you were gonna give it like a 6 or a 7.
Same.
Here's the caveat about the score that I gave to it is that I feel bad giving it the score that I gave to it. Because of how uncomfortable there were parts of the show that gave me, I really, again, on paper, shouldn't have liked it as much as I did and feel bad that I liked it as much as I did. But it was just so enjoyable. It's undeniably enjoyable.
I'm gonna buy you a sailor outfit.
I'm gonna wear it.
I do want to say, like, Jordy, I hope you never change, dude, and I hope your convictions stay as strong as they always have.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that, however many points that subtracted from your actual score, I hope that over time, as we continue to watch anime, that the amount that you subtract, it gets a little less and less if it's for that reason.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? The same way that Mikey and I, years down the line now, we don't even fucking really bat an eyelash at this kind of stuff anymore. I'm not saying that's a good thing necessarily.
But you said it, not me.
But just a little desensitized.
But I do think I can maybe speak for Mikey here is that generally it helps me enjoy things more when I can just put that aside and not get hung up on it. And I can find time to enjoy everything else a little bit more.
I can identify that if I wasn't hung up on that, it was the only thing negative I had to say about the show. The only other thing was that like some of the massive exaggerations got a little stale at certain points, especially towards the end. But aside from that, just brilliant, man. Brilliant,
dude.
What are your guys' scores? Higher than mine?
Well, let's go with Jay. Well, first of all, Jay, I thought Jay was just never going to trust your scores anymore. After
I don't think he will. Can I also point out that, like, I should say that my score, none of them should be compared to scores I've rated other things because there's no like system for
apples
rating.
and oranges. It's apples and oranges.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jay. What are you giving this one?
I'm gonna give this one. Oh, man, I don't want to give out 10s, dude.
We don't give 10s.
I'm holding out hard on giving out 10s, but I'll easily give this a 9.5, man.
Bam.
This is I think from an artistic perspective, like aesthetically, visually, like is crack cocaine, dude. Like I could look at this show, the character designs, like the everything, man, I thought was just spot on artistically with this show. Like you said, the plot was airtight. I loved all of the characters really, really deeply. I mean, I feel like the story, like as airtight as it was, the flow was a little all over the place. Maybe it was a little janky.
Well, I think that's because of like what we were talking about before,
The storyboarding.
with the storyboarding later on. Again, I'm not 100% sure if that's exactly what happened.
But I feel that.
If that is the case, though, I actually feel like it worked out for them in a fluky way.
Yeah.
Because again, the way the first couple episodes like just kind of lay out what's happening, and there's a little flavor of Monster of the Week in order to like train her up a bit, and then they get into plot. I was like, that worked.
It worked out in the end, but
Yeah.
it felt like they were kind of trying to find their footing for the first few episodes.
Sure.
And I could feel that a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I wouldn't give it a perfect 10 out of 10 is because it felt like they needed to kind of get their groove. But once they got it,
Yeah. Nice.
perfect, dude.
Yeah.
Mikey,
I give it like an 8.59.
Dude.
Yeah.
Samesies, bro.
why not higher?
Yeah, well, because it's like for me, I love this show and I love how like wild and you know ridiculous it gets.
Yeah.
I don't know, just because I guess there's other things like you know Ghost in the Shell and like other like I like more cerebral kind of stuff.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
like more fantasy stuff.
typically me too.
But that's just
As
my
well.
personal taste.
Yeah,
sure.
That really comes into play. But like other than that, like this is a solid 9 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid 9.
Sick. I have a question for Schweebs because earlier Mikey asked if we were able to predict something in the show. I want to know if Schweebs were able to predict that I was going to fucking like this show as much as I did because I was not able to predict that at all. So I'm really curious. If you guys,
I was hopeful, man.
Really?
I was only hopeful just because like like I said, I've seen other shows like that Trigger's done and stuff, and like I know that by the end how satisfying they can really be despite the craziness. So I was holding out hope that you'd fucking like it.
Yeah.
Was I still a little bit surprised that you did? Yeah, kind of.
When your buddy first suggested it, say his name again.
James.
Call him out. James.
Yeah.
When you first suggested it, my first thought was like, oh, it's because it's a silly fucking show and I'm gonna fucking hate it. That was legitimately my thought process. And then you guys talked about how ridiculous it was as well too. And so I'm coming into this show thinking with that mentality, and I was blindsided, man.
When
Blindsided.
Mikey suggested this, he was just like, he's like, honestly, man, I think Kill la Kill is just going to be fucking insane.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And then it ended up being like a really like happy gush episode.
Don't get
I
me
know,
wrong.
that's what I was thinking. Like
It is insane.
The show is.
Yeah.
The show is, but generally
Yeah.
your reaction to it was very warm and lovely.
Yeah, true. Hell yeah.
well, James, I hope you like this episode. This one goes
Yeah,
out to
buddy.
you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
The guy at LX. I think that's your tag.
He's all up in our YouTube comments if you
Yeah.
want to know where he is.
Yeah.
And what's his podcast again?
Stormkeep.
Stormkeep.
If you like, if you like Warhammer.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jordy, where can people find you?
Reaching in on Instagram, you can see me doing some stuff there. Mostly this these days. Yeah.
What about you, Senpai?
You can check me out at hanger.91 on Instagram or hanger91.bigcartel.com. I have Kill la Kill merch, shirts, hoodies. We got Makko hoodies.
Yeah, like those prints up there.
Yeah, dude. I also got some flash sheets. So I got this really cute one of Makko and Ryuko on the moped, maybe about to go on their date. I don't know.
What a nice scene. No, that was on their way back from...
I know, but they're going on a date.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And there's hearts in Ryuko's eyes because she loves Makko.
Okay.
And then we got a whole flash sheet just for Makko. And then the one that I wasn't able to actually get in a frame, I don't even have handy. I got another flash sheet of Ryuko.
You'll see it online. We'll post it for sure.
We'll see it.
Yeah.
I went ham on art, dude, because like, look at it, man. It's just, it's such a beautiful show.
It's such a fun anime, just in general. Just a fun.
It really is.
Like, just fun.
Mikey, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at Korean Barbecue 86. I've got cats, I've got toys, I've got figures.
And he doesn't have to write it down anymore to remember it.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you. You know what? Bye, guys. We're signing off.